Ralph Bakshi. Yes, I'm on a journey to learn more about him by watching his films. This is what he has left, and these were his visions. I just watch Wizards. I have mixed feelings, to be told. Now, first and foremost, I watched it because it was a famously experimental animated feature. I don't know the budget, I never looked those things up, and I don't know if being interesting is a sign of lack of money or just, good ideas. The animation was strong in many ways. It's the 70s and there isn't really a narrative focus so much. There is a story, there is a plot line, but the funny thing about 70s movies is they always put in some rather, I don't know, random scenes to sort of fill in the space to, I don't know, set in a mood, and it's interpretational. You decide what it's supposed to be for in this film. I decided that in the weirder slow movements, it was to, really absorb the atmosphere of this fantastical war world. Yeah. If you are not familiar with the plot of Wizards, it is about two wizardy brothers who are in a battle for, the land. The good brother kinda looks like an elf creature. Apparently he's magical, and he lives with the fairies and all. Now this is a time where after the world has polluted itself and gone to hell and regrown, the fairies took over. That makes sense to me. So the cute little fairies and elves are on the good person side, yay. And even though they are twins, his brother, who is closer to, a skeleton than an elfish creature, of course, he's Skeletor, he's the bad guy. He took the artifacts of humanity, the mutants that grew from the hideous leftover radiation that we have, and kind of touched more onto science. Yay! Yeah, he found some human artifacts. And I kid you not, this was the biggest shock to me of this movie. He took a lot of his inspiration from watching World War II videos of Adolf Hitler, saluting the troops and all of that. Now, keep in mind, I'm pretty sure that World War II ended 30 years before this movie came on, so does that make it seem too fresh to me? Are we really comfortable about talking about it, only 30 years later? I don't know. In a way, 30 years seems like, oh yeah, people might have, some doubt about it happening, I mean, on this side, no, you really have, no. Yeah, one of the things that makes World War II such a favorite of the wars is its simplicity of, no, that is wrong. And in this movie, with its incredibly simplistic formula of good versus evil, Nazis are, wow, such, and to me, such an American way of saying, yes, this is evil, this is evil. It wasn't enough if you're just an evil villain with a castle made out of skeletons and you have magical potions. No, in this case, the guy has projections of old war image. His goons have, found machine guns and tanks that they cleaned up, and yeah, they're gonna conquer Fairy World with bloody brute force. And it's brutal. It is pretty brutal. We'll say that it's very quick and, almost silly in the way blood splatters, but still effective, especially when I was not expecting to see so many stabbings and gunshot wounds. I wasn't. I did very little research about this movie before watching it, and I'm happy I didn't do the research really. And yeah, the frames sort of, they adapt. They get a few more frames here and there to show slight changes, slight action, and they're effective. I think if I had saw this when I was a younger person, I probably would get nightmares. Yeah. Yeah, I do love an example of how animation, while endearing in some ways, cannot necessarily be for children. I love that. So yes, the animation with how it took a lot of liberties with the mixed media of this, beautiful stills were drawn in the background, absolutely. The animation, while most of the time very silly, is at least interesting. I love how the good wizard holds a cigar with his foot. I love it. It's just silly. I love it. Where was I going? Oh, yes, and there's. I'm not even sure what to call it. It's like these slice projections, almost puppetry imagery that they put in towards the war scenes, because how can you make war interesting? I don't know. Make the filming and shots so as chaotic as what I assume actual war is. It doesn't need to make sense. You just have to get the point that it is bloody and scary. Point taken. Okay, so that is the strongest point of it. It does deliver war as a miserable sort of like element. And I will give credit that even the so-called bad guy goons, well, not totally redeemable. They do have moments where you think of them as people, when they conversate with their friends, when, they're happy or excited about just having to do their job. It does give a little humanity to them, and I appreciate that. Our good guys, are pretty flat, as you can imagine. The old wizard is a has-been. He honestly would rather sleep through the war than do anything, but he is kind of prompted by his friends, because you are the last good hope, young Avatar. When I say that, of course, I think of Aang. This kid is no Aang. He's kind of pushed by his friends with benefits of Fairy, who does not have a bra. I guess if she's comfortable, why shouldn't I be? Her little giggle and her pearls remind me of the Flintstones friend. I think it was Betty, the neighbor wife with the little giggle. That is basically her. If, she was a little fuller and, yeah, a fairy. Now, Eleanor is such a chick in this movie. She's just for flirting with what's-his-name, teasing him that he's getting old, but he can still get it up. She wants to be vicious and brave, but she has very few instances where she's truly effective or does anything interesting. Of course, she gets kidnapped at least 3 times. Let's see, there's another character, I forgot his name. He's the brave elf, he's a man of the people, he is suspicious, but doing it for the greater good, and, props to him for that. There's also this character, they named Peace in this, red suit, and I'm pretty sure if you ever Google wizards, his silhouette is always the poster. Yeah, I'm not terribly sure what he is. I don't know if he's a person in a costume, or a robot, or some kind of golem. I don't know. I don't understand what he is. I'm not going to tell you it, because if you want to see the movie, he is probably the biggest spoiler. So, do I care if other people see this? Okay, so, for any moviegoer, just a random person that wants to see a movie, I think you have to be in a mood to enjoy it. For its just strange, very 70s psychedelic vibe. It's got a lot of fairies, some adorable, some nasty. So if you just are into that in a Lord of the Rings kind of way, then it's fine. It's a totally fine, very basic kind of movie. If you're an animation fan, absolutely. It is unique and memorable, and, a lot of moments are, super, cartoony, and to an almost annoying way, but the inventiveness of some of the motions and a lot of the choices of how they decided to show their vision was done very well. Let's see. Oh, and also the voice acting, pretty good. Pretty good. This is probably a very unique and memorable fantasy because of the way it just takes in something as starch and as Nazis, as starch, as actual Nazis. Wow. Kind of makes me wish that somebody would make such a bold movie like this, but I can't hold my breath. Yeah. So Wizards, even though there were some moments where I was like, oh, is this gonna get better? And then I got into it, and then it felt like it was over. I'm happy I saw it. I am. Yeah, I'm excited to see others. I'm excited to see Mr. Bakshi's other stuff. I don't think they're all fantasy. I think they're a little more cityscape, sort of. But, I'll wait and see. This was a hoot.